Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason,
and me, Jennifer,
have a few drinks
and talk shit about our kids.
Please follow us on Instagram at... Wait, am I missing one?
Yep.
Instagram and YouTube? I think that's
yep.
it. Yeah, YouTube at Guide to Poor Parenting.
And Twitter, Facebook, TikTok at Poor Parent Pod.
Yes. And I actually think if you search for Guide to Poor Parenting on our Facebook page, you will find us. But I think that's what it... I don't get this rough right. Either way, Miss Jennifer, I'm so excited to...
introduce me to?
Introduce you to, because you just met her like 5 minutes ago.
That's right.
A good friend, a new friend.
Yep.
And a fun friend. Miss Rebecca. Hi. Say hi, Miss Rebecca.
Hello, Miss Rebecca.
Rebecca and I volunteered at Shenanigans in comedy theater, is that what it's called?
Maybe. Community theater? Comedy? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They do a lot of different things, so it's hard to really pig them down to one.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
We've talked about it. Kim and Jessica have been on the podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica's going to come.
It's really hard not to say their name of their place and not think of that scene from State Troopers.
With the restaurant Shenanigans or whatever?
Well, it's like, Farva, like, if somebody says Shenanigans one more time, I'm going to pistol whip them. It's like, hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the shit on the walls? You're like, oh, you mean Shenanigans? Oh.
I saw a really bad joke on TikTok. It was like, you can't trust a motherfucker. If they shenan once, they'll shenan again.
Yep.
So yeah, you and I met probably like 4 months ago, maybe. Volunteer.
We're in October. Yeah, so
somewhere
August-ish.
Was it August? When did you start volunteering?
Yeah, August.
Oh, I thought it...
2 months.
Okay, never mind. I thought you'd been volunteering longer than that. Okay. So you and I showed up to volunteer, and lo and behold...
I'm just one of those people who kind of like sneak in, and then you're like, oh my God, I've known you for like years.
That's a good kind of person, though.
Yes. This tiny little lady with mauve hair was helping me serve drinks and at Shenanigans.
Yep.
And Jennifer and I were like... this will be our last interview for the season, and I was like, we were trying to find anybody, and the Mike who actually sent us an email. Remember last year he sent us that email on topics we could try for the podcast. He was there, and he's like, oh, I thought Rebecca had been on the podcast, and she's like, I didn't even know you had a podcast. And I'm like, oh, it's about parenting. I was like, would you like to be on it? Because I didn't get the impression. I knew you had a stepchild, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know. I just didn't even. It just didn't spark. I was like, oh, she actually might want to come on and talk about her experiences.
I don't really put out those vibes of like,
yeah,
I'm a parent, I have a kid. Not really.
So, but I'm glad you came on. We appreciate it.
Definitely.
And, this will be coming out right before Halloween, and you two have your Jennifer has her "I'm the Sheet" shirt from Tea Turtle with a ghost with sunglasses on, and Miss Rebecca has her always
check your
candy with
Sam from Trick or Treat.
Yes,
and the bowl basically has a bunch of
eyeballs. Candy
and then eyeballs and fingers. Which, if you've ever seen the movie Trick or Treat, it will make complete sense to you.
Yes,
yeah, I have.
I have too. It's been a while, but I've seen it. Is it Trick or Treat? Is the one where it's like it's a montage, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of little stories,
vignettes. I think. Yeah, it's a bunch of vignettes. One of them had Anna Paquin as a werewolf. I think. Yep. I thought so. Yeah. And then Sam, that character, he's in 2, isn't?
He's in the first one too.
No, I mean he's in 2 vignettes in the.
He actually, if I remember correctly, I want to say that he shows up in every one, but sometimes he's just in the background. He's not a solid thing that they're focusing on, but just the overall that he's there. That's why he's the mascot of the whole show.
Oh, that's cute.
Okay.
I might have to watch it again to find him. It's like, where's Waldo? It's going to be, where's Sam?
Yep.
But is he he's not a central character in one of the vignettes, is he? He's just kind of shows up as kind of...
I mean, he is. He shows up as a trick-or-treater at someone's house, and then the guy turns him away, and then he eats all the candy, and then, bites his lollipop off and stabs the dude in the eye and stuff.
Oh, okay. I don't
totally kills the eye.
Yeah, the only the 2 vignettes I remember from Trick or Treat are the one where some dude is sitting on a porch with a fat kid, and the kid just starts spitting up blood. Mm-hmm. And I think the guy who killed the kid, his son starts carving up the other kid's face as a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern or something. Yep. Remember that right?
Yep.
And then the guy who killed the fat kid gets eaten by Anna Paquin as a werewolf. Mm-hmm. And then I guess Sam is the trick-or-treater, the kid that you're talking about. He's in another one.
Yeah, because he's of the original story of the school bus of kids that got
driven into the
ravine and whatnot, and so just vengeful spirit of child coming back to haunt everybody.
Yep.
Do you have any favorite Halloween movies you like to watch?
Ooh.
Or watch every year? I know Jennifer does.
I wouldn't say there's ones that I watch every year. I mean, Trick or Treat is certainly fantastic, but there's not really a lot that we do a bunch of times. My husband's like really into horror, so just as soon as we got together and started dating, and he was like, "Oh, have you seen this movie? Have you seen this movie? Have you seen this movie?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "What the hell is the matter with you?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry? No, I wasn't really allowed to watch movies, like scary movies. Like my sister got all the scary movies and my parents were like, no, you can't watch scary movies." So my first scary movie ever was like Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Oh,
Ooh.
That's probably one of my favorite Freddy's.
Dream Warriors is mine just because it's so fucking campy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
It
good one.
is so,
way out there.
yeah,
But
it's so campy.
The crawling underneath the sheets and the little kid's dinosaur, like, I don't know, that one, for some reason, because it's like a movie within a movie, that's why I like that one so much. And the first one fucked me up. I was a kid and watched it, and then when Freddy came up out of the bed and put Johnny Depp
Got Johnny
everywhere.
Depp. Yep.
I didn't
Johnny
sleep
Depp's first role ever in a movie.
Yeah, I didn't sleep in a bed for a while because I was scared that Freddy would do that to me.
Yeah, like they didn't really let me watch scary. Although technically horror, but not really horror. We did watch like Gremlins, Critters.
Oh, yeah.
Gremlins is the
And I do remember, I think, coming in when my sister was watching Killer Crowns from Outer Space, because I remember the bubblegum and everything from that, and the cocoons and stuff, and the cotton candy. So yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Oh,
it's just so campy and stupid, and I love it. But frankly, Ernest Saves Christmas or Ernest Saves Halloween. I think that's one of, or it's so dumb, but I love it. Ernest Saves Christmas and Halloween, both of those are just like, they're so dumb, but I love them. I was like, oh, just good memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Well, let's. What are we drinking, Miss Rebecca? You are being a good girl and not abusing your liver, but Jennifer and I have decided
That's because I'm a lightweight piece of shit.
Oh.
We would not call you a lightweight.
Yes.
Maybe a piece of shit, but no.
No, I don't really drink very often, so literally it's like one shot or one drink, and then I'm full of giggles.
Oh, okay.
So
we need to get her a drink.
Should have told me. I would have sent you an Uber.
Yes. We spiked the diet Dr. Pepper that she's drinking.
Yep.
She thought it was okay. No, I'm just kidding.
why does it have this strange spiced rum taste to it?
Taste to it, yeah.
It's just for hip and all.
But yeah, so you're drinking diet Dr. Pepper because you were a good girl, and then me and Jason are drinking a Malbec that he bought at the Costco's.
At the Costco's.
It is Altosur, right?
Yeah.
Altosur.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it's called. But it's really yummy. I like it. I like my Malbecs. They're nice.
We are, before you came over, Jennifer and I, we post cocktail reviews. So for every episode, we have a drink, and then we talk about our kids and, bitch about like how we don't know what we're doing, and we're probably fucking everything up, and how they hate us and all that.
Yep.
But I was like, we need to do some more social media stuff. So it's like, why don't we do like, we'll review the cocktails we drink. So but I was like, it'd be one a week. So I was like, my father-in-law gave us, Zane and I, a box of Costco wine and advent calendar. So it's like 25 bottles, I think, of wine. It is the grossest shit.
And we're in October and we're still drinking them.
Yeah.
We got them at Christmas.
Yep.
We didn't crack them open though until probably March.
Little bottles or
Yeah.
You can see it right behind you.
That little rosé,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's not little, but it's still a
and most of them are
teenager
disgusting.
Yeah, they're all like mid to crap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like we haven't had one good one yet. We've had ones that are like I drink at the end of the night after a few bottles, but ugh.
That sounds like the perfect experiment thing for, like the whole, take apple juice and mix it with wine or stuff like that.
Well, we did mix Mountain Dew and
Cabernet, I think.
And was it Cabernet? Mm-hmm. And we had, what was it? Like a Southern or... Oh, what was that called?
I know what you're talking, because we did it, because I saw it on TikTok, and they're like, try mixing Mountain Dew and red wine, and it actually wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
See, I
We drank it
probably
multiple
would just hate
times.
it because I don't like Mountain Dew anyway.
I hate Mountain Dew. Like I can't drink regular sweetened. They all have to be diet because it is so. Regular sodas are so cloyingly sweet. It just kind of grosses me out. So I had to drink all diet, and this like the red wine cut the sweetness so perfectly.
Yeah.
So,
but redneck. I can't remember what the name of it was, but yeah, we did that.
If you guys haven't tried it yet, then your next mission would be to try a red.
Tell us.
Okay.
What's the Red Death?
So it's kind of the equivalent of doing like a Long Island iced tea in the fact that it's got somewhere between 7 to 8 different ingredients in it, but only the pineapple juice, I think it is, and grenadine are not alcoholic in there. Otherwise, it's got everything from like sloe gin and rum, amaretto, and a bunch of other things in it. Okay. Basically, when it's made right, the reason they call it a Red Death is because when it's made right, it basically tastes like Kool-Aid. You cannot taste the alcohol at all in it.
Ooh.
I made us some Long Island iced teas a few weeks ago, and I thought they turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
I was very drunk afterwards.
My friend's birthday is, it was just last weekend, but we always do something for her, and someone decided to do a drink that had 12 liquors in it. And we could only do 11 because one of the liquors was absinthe, and we couldn't find it. It was the nastiest shot I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, absinthe, anyways, you take a gamble on.
Well, I don't like absinthe because I don't like
black licorice.
Yeah.
I did absinthe in New Orleans and was like, okay, I did it. I'm done. Give me something that I can take the taste out of my mouth.
We had a bottle of absinthe sitting up above our fridge for the longest time because our house used to be party house, and we used to host a lot of different things, and people would come over and just bring stuff, and then they would just leave it there.
Yeah.
So one guy in particular who has gone on a lot of overseas trips, he actually had a bottle of absinthe that he brought over for people to try, and then it just stayed at our house for like...
Was it the absinthe with other ingredients since it was overseas?
The only thing I can tell you is that the bottle was probably about the size of like a Crown Royal bottle. It was a smoky glass, like white, with almost looking like flames in the design.
That sounds like a cool bottle.
It was a really cool bottle. But yeah, it stayed up in our cabinet for forever. And it was one of those that when you pour it out, it was great.
I've heard that you can train yourself to like black licorice, but you just have to like keep trying it. It's kind of like what we do with kids, where it's like you don't have to do a lot, just do a little bit, and they'll start to like it eventually. And I've kind of wanted to try that, see if I could learn to like that flavor of black licorice. I don't know. Like we had some neighbors on the road. One of them was from Iceland.
Yeah.
And one of their favorite things is salted black licorice. And I was like, ugh. I was like, I don't like black licorice to begin with, but throw salt on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh. But
And my husband trained himself to kind of start liking the taste of beer. So maybe.
I recently, since I married my husband, I've developed a taste for beer. I never did before. It was always too bitter. And Jennifer still doesn't like it. But,
yeah, he didn't like it either. Absolutely none of it. And then somebody had told him to start putting salt in it to cut the taste a little bit more. So he started with that, and then it's funny to me because, I don't want beer at all. And now all of a sudden we go from not wanting beer to I'm okay with beer to let me go all the way to the dark stouts.
Yep.
So like his favorite is like a milk stout. Just the darkest thing possible, or a Guinness that you just pour into the glass. And I'm like...
It's like drinking a loaf of bread.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's like, it's the meal of beers.
Yeah. I can't drink the IPAs, the stuff that have that really hoppy flavor. I still haven't developed a taste for that one. But I started with like Blue Moon, I think, or one of those kind of like citrusy ones that were kind of mildly sweet, but not too bad. But I
still don't like beer either, and you haven't seen it happen yet because you haven't been around me enough. But you'll do it eventually. Everybody seems to do it to me. So I have the face of a child. I cannot stop myself from reacting to things if I try something and it tastes a certain way. I cannot stop this face from reacting. So sometimes people just like, here, try this, and just like push things on me just to see my face react.
That's funny.
Well, if we have our we're going to have a Christmas party soon, and we're going to have all the previous guests on the podcast. So you are more than welcome to come over, and we're going to do a liquor dirty Santa. So make sure you Uber over, and we'll have a good time. Yeah, I like this. I like this one. I wouldn't mind getting it. It was pretty inexpensive. I think it was like an $8 bottle.
Not bad.
So, yeah.
My beer thing is psychosomatic. Every beer has that same taste, and I attribute to my father being an alcoholic and like me having to crush the beer can and all that. So, but wine I had to do like your husband. Mine was like the very first wine I liked was called Bug Juice, and it was a Moscato, so it was wicked sweet.
Yep.
And then one day, like after, trying the sweet stuff, me and my friend went to Asheville, North Carolina, and we went to a bougie restaurant, and I had a Tempranillo, which is like red, like at the, pretty much like, I guess the same as, your husband.
Your dark, dry red.
Yep. And I was like, oh, I like this. And she's like, what? And so now
That happens too.
I'm a red girl. Like,
what do you mean you liked it?
Malbecs, anything, like most of the reds I really enjoy. And I don't like whites, really.
Yeah,
it's weird.
She's been pushing her way through the Costco wine advent calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and like, if I drink stuff, it's usually sweet stuff or stuff I can't taste the alcohol and everything. So that's why I'm always like, I like the dangerous things. Like I said, like Red Death, for example, I that happened to me on my 22nd birthday. Yeah. Went to the bar with some friends. The bartender knew us because my friends used to go there and play darts and everything else. And so he's like, oh, it's your birthday. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, Red Death? Sure. Why not? Let's do that. Makes me one, puts it in front of me. I am just talking to my friend. I'm just sipping this thing like it's water.
So it's not a shot, but it's an actual...
It's a drink.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a full-on drink. And I got done with the one and I put it down. And he's just like, you want another one? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I took down 2 of these things in apparently 30 minutes.
Oh.
And for our listening audience, Miss Rebecca's a tiny little woman. You are 5'2", 5'3"?
Yep, 5'2".
Yeah. So I can't imagine, like...
And then not, like, because she's just sitting still, so she's fine.
Oh,
it's
yeah, no, that's exactly
up.
when that happened, too. I was on the stool, we were talking, so then I go to get off that bar stool, and I wobbled, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yep.
And I bet the reason they call it Red Death is because you get so drunk so fast you start throwing up red food coloring.
Oh,
I don't know why they called it that, but just, yeah. And of course, this was all like back in like South Florida too, so.
A lot of bars have that signature drink. Like Upscale had the leg spreader that you could only have 2 of them and they would cut you off because it was the equivalent of probably the Red Death.
There's a place in North Florida called McGuire's Irish Pub.
Yep. Been there. Well, I've been to one in
Destin.
Yeah, they have the Destin
somewhere
one.
else too.
And Pensacola. Those are like their 2 locations. But they have that, the Irish Wake. They'll only give you 2 of those. And those things are full-on big mason jars of stuff.
Yeah.
But same thing. They're like, we will only give you 2.
Yep.
That is it.
Yep. Because it's drinkable.
Yep.
But then it's very...
potent.
Very potent.
I'm going to look up the recipe for Red Death. That does sound interesting. Although it'll be like we're only recording 1 episode that whole day because when we first started the podcast, we did 3 episodes in one day, and by the end of the 3rd episode, I was drunk. And I'm 6'3", and I'm over, at the time I was probably 260, and I was like, I always feel my alcohol pretty quickly. And so I was just like giggling and goofy, and this like person over here with a ironclad liver was like, I'm fine. Like, God damn it.
The German Irish liver.
Yep.
Well, Ms. Rebecca, we asked you here to come to talk to us today about parenting because you are in fact a what?
Step parent, actually.
So let's go back in time to so how long have you been a step parent?
You're gonna make me do math? No. 14, 15 years? Something like that.
Okay. Now are you still with your husband?
Yeah.
And how did you meet your husband?
We actually met online.
Ooh, it was back in the day then. It was before cell phones even probably.
Actually, so we ran up a rather large cell phone bill from meeting online.
Was it back when you had to pay for texts?
Yeah.
And you couldn't call before 9?
Yeah.
Like, so one of those just kind of chance situations. We both ended up going into the state chat room, which we were in Florida at the time. So we were both inside the Florida chat room, which normally you just kind of avoided those places because it was full of like hundreds of people and usually a bunch of trolls and everything else. So
was
you
this AOL?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you just kind of avoided those spaces, but we went in there, and then I I started up a conversation about bands and music. And I had dropped some, like, obscure band names. And he was like, I need to talk to you. So he started talking to me. And then next thing you know, we're, like, talking all the time. Like, when we first wake up, before we go to sleep, all types of stuff. Because he's up in Fort Walton Beach and I'm down in Fort Lauderdale. So we are on opposite ends of the state.
Okay.
We were just in Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
For a cruise.
So we talked for like 6 months before we even saw each other. Then he came down to visit me. 2 weeks later, I went up to visit him. And then about 3 weeks after that, I packed my car and decided to take a chance and drive up the entire state of Florida to start a relationship with him and move in with him.
Wow.
So yeah. But during all of that very beginning parts of conversations and everything, he was like, okay, I need to let you know I do have a kid. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I have a son. I'm like, wait. You have a son. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, so the bloodline is continued? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so I'm off the hook? And he's like, yeah, I guess if you want to be. I'm like, cool. No, we're golden. That's fine.
You don't want any more, right? One's enough? They're good?
And like, he kept checking in with me like numerous times throughout the years. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, that biological clock isn't, you sure? You sure? I'm like, no. I'm fine. It was a little bit of a maybe on the fence thing. Might happen. And then I was around my sister after, like, she had for her birth the timeline, it would be her second kid. But as far as the number, that would have been the 6th boy for the blended family. Yeah. And so I was around her after that and her whole experience of getting stitched up and everything. And I was like, no, none of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely none of it. And so later years, it became jokes of like, babe, you've been around me when I'm on my period and PMSing and when I'm sick. Do you really think it's a good idea for me to have like pregnancy hormones and be around me? Like, I might kill somebody. So no.
So how old was his son when you guys met?
He would have been 8 when we met.
Okay.
So he's early 20s now, like 22, somewhere in there?
He is 25 now.
Okay.
Okay.
Jason can't do math. That's okay.
Well, I thought you said 14 years ago, so that would be...
I said you made me do math. But yeah,
She can't do math then.
But
math is hard, guys.
When we first got together, like, yeah, he was about 8. I didn't see him or meet him until he was 10.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I'm like, yeah, 14, 15.
Yeah, I'll get some in a second. Jennifer's looking at me. Do you want some more wine? I'll get it in a minute.
Okay. Just ask it.
Yeah. There was a whole dramatic thing of why he wasn't around to start with in the start. But yeah.
Gotcha.
So was your husband... Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, was your husband and his ex-partner, were they sharing custody or was it kind of like he had... No?
Nah. It was a big dramatic thing that happened. So from pretty much 5 to 10, he was not part of his son's life.
Aww. That's sad.
Was that his choice or mom's choice?
That was mom.
Oh, okay.
That was definitely mom, and mom even used son to dig that gut a little deeper when it happened.
I hate that because you're hurting the kid.
Yeah, like he didn't even know what was happening, but just he ended up telling me that essentially he had a conversation with him, and it was like on Father's Day, freaking things. He was supposed to see him, didn't happen. Fast forward, basically he finally got a chance to like get him on the phone. And he's just like, Daddy, I don't want to talk to you because when I talk to you, I get into trouble and it's a bad time, so I don't want to talk to you.
Aww.
Yeah. So that gut-wrenched him.
Of course.
And then she went further and did like court stuff and all types of things. And no, you can pay child support, but you can't be any part of his life kind of thing. But it wasn't until he got older where he started actually asking questions and being like, hey... Mom, you're a woman. You're married to a woman. So where is my dad? Kind of thing.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. So he had 2 moms.
Yep.
And then he had dad and you.
Yeah. So yeah, he started asking about him, and then she let him start talking to him again and everything, and then he wanted to come see him. So then he started coming see him. And he kind of came on the summers, basically.
And you were there for some of that because you had moved up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so when he started talking to him again, him and I were already together, already living together and everything else.
Okay.
So,
And how was that relationship with you and him for a whole summer? Was he like, I just want to see my dad? Or did he like you because you're an awesome person?
Yeah, he liked me. I mean, we kicked it off pretty fast. And so even before me and my husband even got engaged or married or anything like that, like I already started telling him, I was like, kid, I hope you know, like regardless of what happens between me and your dad, like you're stuck with me unless you tell me to fuck off. Because I love you too damn much. Like this is not
That's awesome.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So you don't really consider him your stepson. He's your son.
Yep.
Yep.
He's son. The term that I get from him is I am either mommy too or bonus mommy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's sweet.
So
Yeah. At least you get like mom out of it. So
Yep.
that's like most kids won't be like, nah. But then I'm sure he has to make up another mom name for the second mom on the other side of that.
oh no, she's not in the picture anymore.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Never mind.
okay.
Yep. lots of dramatics.
Yeah, that
lots
sounds
of dramatics.
like
So what is the when 10 happened? What was the custody situation there?
Basically, the restraining order and all of that was null and void from that point.
fuck.
Wow.
Yeah. We're living in Alabama. She's living in like Mississippi at the time. So just one of those like, that's no longer valid. That's no longer a thing. But he was still paying child support that just kind of got drafted out of his check. Like no choice or whatever on the matter, just got taken. But then she just kind of, yeah, no, he wants this and everything else. And so I'm not going to tell him no because he wants to see you. He wants to have this relationship. So, it is what it is.
Right.
So she kind of agreed and let him to start coming around. And of course, the first summer he came, he spent a lot of time just basically going like, oh my God, your house is so quiet. Because he comes from a house that is with like 3 other brothers.
Oh.
So he has to share things and has like a room that he shares with his younger brother and everything's always a thing and 2 older brothers that pick on him and stuff. So then he comes to our house and there's no other kids and he has an entire room to himself. And he's just like,
oh my God,
amazing.
Heaven.
So was the other house, was it steps and halves or was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. His younger brother would be his half brother, same mom. The older 2 were from the other girl.
Oh, okay.
And relationship she had. So yeah, older brothers were stepbrothers for him and half brother for younger brother.
Poor buddy, though, to go from like chaos to like heaven. With like, I have my own room.
That we've been not dealing with that, but Kalia's been my granddaughter's been kind of having the same sentiment because she's her mom lives down in Coleman and Kalia's got 2 younger sisters that are like 2 and 4, and Kalia's like, I love my mom, I love my sisters, but I don't want to have to share everything, so I'd rather be up here and be an only child.
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yep. And she gets more here because it's one kid, so more attention.
Yeah.
Yep. So what made you guys move from Florida to Alabama?
We were working for a franchising company that got bought by a new CEO who was from Muscle Shoals.
Oh.
Okay.
And he didn't want to take that 6.5-hour drive stuff, so he was like, hey, I'm going to move the company. Who wants to go? And we were like, what? Free ticket ride out of Florida? You're paying for it?
Oh,
yes.
Oh.
Nice.
I was going to say, how many people did he lose in the transfer? Because that's usually, like, when you move offices, that's usually a...
That's a big thing, yeah. So that's what brought us from Florida to here, to Alabama, North Alabama.
Did you guys both work at this place? Okay.
Yep.
And then it moved you to Muscle Shoals?
Yep. We actually lived in Tuscumbia, but yes, Muscle Shoals is where where it moved to. God, that was an experience.
I'm sure.
And
I mean, Florida is weird, but, that's kind of weird too. So.
I mean, like everybody, all of our friends kept asking, like, why did you move to Alabama? And I was like, hold on. Like, I live in North Alabama. I don't live in Alabama. Like, there's a difference. There's a big difference. And they're like, no, but why? And I'm like, let me explain to you. I was like, I have a lofted apartment that's downtown off of Main Street in Tuscumbia that is like 1,800 square feet, has lofted ceilings, like 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, except my pets and everything else, and has like, washer and dryer. And I was like, just based on that parameter. So I was like, what do you think I'm paying for my rent? And they're, of course, Florida. And at that time, they're like, oh, easily like $1,500. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm paying $750.
Yeah.
Nice. They're like, what? Yeah. I'm like, that's why I moved to Alabama.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, what time frame was this? Was this like...
This would have been 2003? Yeah.
No, wait.
2002, 2003, something like that.
That time frame can't be right then. Because you said 15 years ago, and that would put us back in 2010 time frame is when you met your husband.
Oh, yes. No, you're right.
Would have been 2013.
I told you, don't make me do math, man.
You do the math, Jason. Mr. Masters and
You know how I remember things? I pull up my phone and I look at Facebook and I go, let me go through my albums.
That sounds Jennifer.
Every time.
I look at memories and then I look at albums if you ask me a specific question.
Yes, if you're
that's
asking
the
me for
only
specifics,
reason
that's where I'm going.
I have Facebook is to do what I need to remember this day. That's why I'm going to post it on Facebook today.
Yeah, because it's not like I can pull up my resume and access that nearly as fast and look at the dates in that thing.
Right. All right, so you guys moved from Florida.
Moved from Florida to Alabama. Yep.
And then you moved from Tuscumbia to Huntsville.
Yep. Well, we were basically in Tuscumbia for less than a year. I think we made it 8 months. But essentially, when the dude moved the company up, then he found out, the books have been fixed and the company is actually broke.
Oh shit.
Lord.
So he had to tell everybody sorry and pretty much close the doors. And that's kind of what happened.
And then you got...
Hubs got a job at a web hosting company here in Huntsville, but that drive, that's not a good commute drive going from Tuscumbia to Huntsville.
And Huntsville's better than Tuscumbia. I mean,
Yep.
Maybe more expensive than...
So we were trying to kind of like ride out the lease for the longest time, so that's why we kind of made it to about 8 months, and then we were like, sorry, man, and came over to Madison, got an apartment in Madison, and yeah, that apartment was the first time that Greg came back to visit.
Is that the son?
Yep.
Okay. I haven't heard his name.
Sorry.
Grego. No, that's okay. So he doesn't live with you guys. He just comes for the summers?
He was just coming for the summers at the time.
Okay.
Did y'all get full custody of him at any point?
So he did move in with us. I like to say I had a strange reverse shotgun wedding because basically we got married, he moved in with us, and then we got a new house.
Wow.
Okay.
All within like 3 months.
Nice.
Wow. That's a lot of change in a short amount of time.
That's a lot of change.
It was a lot of change. So, yeah. And that was in 2015. So, yep. He moved in with us then.
Was it just too much for him in Mississippi? Or was it...
Mom was going through relationship changes.
Oh, okay.
Had a new beau. She was going to move to like Montana.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
He did not want to go to Montana.
Right.
He tried to convince her to stay where they were in Nevada.
Oh, I thought they were in Mississippi.
Okay.
Like I said, moved around a lot.
Wow.
Don't try to keep track of it.
Yeah, we won't. Okay, so
He
didn't want to move again.
He didn't want to move again. No.
Which
and
makes
we
sense.
always had, we basically had always told him, like, hey, and my husband made it clear to him, like, you know, if ever there's a reason or situation or anything, like, just know you can move in with us. Like, we're not going to pressure you or anything, but you are welcome to come here at any point in time you want to come here.
Yes.
So he decided to jump on that when he couldn't convince his mom to stay where he wanted to. Mm-hmm. Then next thing you know, he's calling us. And we, at the time, we just kind of ripped into it because I was like, dude, you were just here for the wedding. Like, you couldn't have said something then, like, we could have been like, hey, well, sure, like, go back home, like, keep all your shit here, go back home, just talk to your mom, see if that works. If it doesn't work, we'll ship your stuff back, but otherwise, like, at least you already have some things here. No, he goes back and then, like, picks up the phone and calls us, like, just a little bit later. And we're like, are you kidding? So
kids don't think like that.
No, they don't. They don't. And
so how old was he at that point?
Like 12 or 10?
I've lost math and where we're at right now. So
when he moved in with us?
Yeah.
No, when he moved in with us, he was junior in high school.
Oh, okay. So he's like 15, 16.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is he still in Madison County?
He is in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Denver. Listen,
he's just going everywhere. He didn't want to go to Montana, but he'll go to Colorado.
Well, no, because we're gonna totally follow the girlfriend out to Colorado. That's different.
That is different. Yes.
So taking after his mother.
Yeah.
But this one's okay. This one she passed the tests a long time ago.
Okay,
and good. They're engaged to get married and everything
Oh
else.
wow!
So,
yeah. Okay. So she went probably for school.
She did.
Is he in school?
No. He did not go to school.
That's okay.
He luckily listened to me when I told him, like, do not do what I did. If you're going to go to school, know what you're going to school for and the fact that you need to go to school for it. Do not go in there with no plan or rhyme or reason. Because pretty much I went in, I was undecided, and then, like, had 3 years of college, and for reasons outside of my control, I had to leave, and I didn't go back because I was not in a mental capacity to do so. And I was just like, nah. And then the school was like, hey, you need to pay us thousands of dollars to even so much as get any sort of paperwork for things. And we're a private university, so we do things differently. So you did not work your 2 first years on your associate's degree. They just let you work however you want to. Of your 4 years towards your bachelor's, so you can move your classes around however you want to.
Oh, okay.
So if you want your 4th year just to be like completely easy and just do those one-on-one classes that you have to get for the little check marks, then you can do that.
Wow.
So I basically left with nothing to show for it, missing like 3 credits for my associates and like 13 credits for my bachelor's kind of thing. Like I was so close to anything.
That's heartbreaking.
And I was just like, I have nothing to show for it.
And you got to pay all this money.
Yeah. So I come out of that and didn't have anything to show for it. My husband on the other side comes from, because of how young he was when Greg was born, he actually like GAD'd, went straight into the workforce kind of situation.
Okay.
So he comes from, look where I am, I'm doing things and all, he's self-taught and everything else. Like he didn't go to school. He didn't do any of that.
Right.
And his mom's like, oh, well, you know, we can do this for scholarship. And he also kept bouncing around. Like Greg made no sense. He went from like, I think I want to do this to, I think I want to do that. So like he went from like funeral director to cop to FBI. And I was like, what? Like dead bodies to cop to FBI. Where are we going? What is happening?
Well, I guess there's dead bodies in all 3.
Like,
I mean,
yeah, so I was even more like, dude, just pump the brakes, man. Like, if you don't know what you're going in for, because you may not need it. If you want to decide to go to like certain things in IT, you have to get certifications. You don't necessarily need the school. It just depends on what you're doing.
Or you can do a trade and just do a couple years and then be done. Yeah. You don't have to do 4 years or get a bachelor's or a master's or all that stuff because you can figure it out.
Yeah, so
that's
luckily
the smart thing.
He listened to both of us and basically didn't do that. He graduated high school and he just kind of went working.
Good for him.
He still, for a while, he still had this whole, I'm going to be in the FBI, but then he found out instead of doing the cop route to go into the FBI, he was like, oh, if you are a certain level of security clearance inside banks, you also can work your way into the FBI.
Really?
So he went bank route.
I did not know that.
Yep. So now he is like a manager, bank, has people underneath him and everything else. He's making, like, he just got a raise and everything, so he's doing great.
Good
like
for him.
$75K a year kind of deal.
Nice.
And then sidewise, he's like personal trainer.
Well,
Hey,
So,
get your hustle on.
yep.
that's what we're doing here.
I mean,
Pretty much just, hey, do what you can, man.
yeah. I mean, I didn't go to college because my brother was born 3 months after I graduated. And so I was like 18 and I heard horror stories about daycares. And I was like, this is my only brother. I'm 18 years older than him, but I'm not going to let him be a statistic.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, so I stayed with my mom and helped raise him until about 2 years old.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, I'm 20. I have nothing to show for my life.
Yep.
His dad isn't doing what a dad is supposed to do.
Yep.
So I'm going to leave and make dad do what dad's supposed to do. It kind of fucked up my relationship with my stepdad for a little bit, but then he stepped up. And I was like, okay, good. And then I started working at a bank right after I moved in with my best friend at the time. And then 5 years at the bank, someone told me, hey, you can be a teller. Same thing that I was at the bank. More money. And I was like, I've been here 5 years and I can make more money somewhere else. Like, okay. So where I work now, I've been there for almost 19 years. And my brother is now a freshman at UAH.
Nope, he's a junior.
Oh, I guess the Calhoun thing. Yeah. Okay. So a junior at UAH. And what's so funny is, so when I was 18 and I graduated high school, he was like, hey, can you drive me to Calhoun so I can register for school? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay. So I took him and then I registered for school to finally start. I was like, you know what? I bet you I can do this.
Yep.
Let me see. was like a lot older at the time. I'm not doing the math. Not gonna tell nobody. But they can do the math too. And
no, we don't do the math on this side of the room.
Yeah, that's right.
Apparently not.
Right. But yeah, so me and him started college at the same time, which is kind of funny. And then I got my associates, and I am very proud of my associates because it took a long time because I was paying for it as I went. Mm-hmm. So just pretty much 1 or 2 classes a semester, and then I adopted my son.
Yep.
And then I got COVID multiple times, and then got
fun.
COVID during that period. So I took a couple years off, and so it was a long thing. But I didn't like walk across the stage, but I finally got my diploma. Mm-hmm. Now I was proud of myself, but it doesn't affect my work.
Nope.
Because work's like,
and that was something that actually like stuck with me when I went to college, and that I also told Greg, because I luckily had a very good, she wasn't even actually my guidance counselor or career counselor, whatever they call them in college. I don't know anymore, but she,
advisor.
There we go. Advisor. Yes.
My brother was just talking about it today. So that's why.
So yeah, she wasn't even my advisor, but she was just a professor of philosophy of all things that actually, I took one of her 101 class, and then just kind of like fell in love with philosophy. So we talked, hung out. She introduced me to certain books and authors, like a bunch of things. But she was talking to me. She was like, they may not tell you this. She's like, but here's the thing. Whenever you decide to go to like school and take classes and everything else, like it's not going to mean as much in your interview if you just go, here, I have this piece of paper that says I'm totally good for this job, versus going, so when I went to school, I actually took this class and I learned this. I took this class and I learned how to do that. I took that course and learned how to do this. Like if you can do that route during your interview, it's going to mean a lot more.
Yeah.
It's like, so don't worry about the piece of paper. Worry about the classes that you're actually taking.
Right.
And what you're gaining from those classes. I was like, good to know.
Let me pass this on to Greg.
Yep. So that stuck, and I kind of told him that. So I mean, he did good things. Like he took debate classes. He was inside debate clubs.
Nice.
It's awesome.
When he was living with his mom, like full on like captain of the team, almost got to like states competitions and everything else, and had trophies and all types of things.
And then she moved.
Yep.
Because that's what she did.
She moved. He moved in with us, and he was like, "Oh, cool! Buckman has like debate class, yeah." And then he's like, "They don't know what the hell they're fucking doing." And I was like, "Oh,
Let me show them."
Yeah, I was like, "Is it really that bad?" He's like, "Yes." And then they got really close to going to regionals. They qualified to go to regionals, but the lady that was in charge of running that
club.
Yeah, club. But she was apparently married to like the superintendent or something like that. So she was just kind of like
half-assing it.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Oh,
big
that
time.
sucks for the kids.
So she did not do whatever paperwork and things she needed to do to organize that. So they didn't go.
Oh.
And I was like, "Are you kidding?" I was like, I would have rented a van and taken you guys.
That's
like
right.
I would have gone. I was like, she blocked you guys because she didn't do paperwork? Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh man, screw her.
Yeah. I was pissed off for him. I was like, point me in the direction. Where does she live?
Yeah. Let me go out and talk with her.
Give her a piece of my mind.
Well, and so like that kind of leads me into another thing, is the whole, again, fell in love with Greg very quickly, told him I was going to be part of his life no matter what. So even when he started dating, the girls would come over to the house. They weren't so much intimidated by Dad. They were intimidated by me.
Yep. Because
apparently I put off major mom bear vibes of like, if you fuck this up, I will find you. Do not hurt him. I will find you.
Rebecca.
Hey, don't mess with a mama bear.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you don't have to, biologically give birth to said child to do that.
You do not. You do not have to give birth to them to have that drive in you at all. And yeah, it's stuck. And even once he came and moved in with us and then started sharing more of some things that was happening when he was living with Mom.
Oh, it pissed you off even more.
Oh, it did.
Let's go get Mama.
Oh,
where's she at now? Let's go get her.
It 100% did. Yeah. I was like, are you kidding? It was one of those conversations that took place, and I was like, you do know that had you told us any of this was happening when that stuff was going down, you would not have been in that house. You would have been here so many years sooner.
Yeah.
Had we known any of this was going on.
Yeah.
Poor
But
guy.
kids just, they don't want to tell on their
Yeah.
parents, I guess.
Well, they're comfortable with the devil they know as
Yeah.
opposed to the devil they don't.
And also,
But there's no devil with Mama Bear, Rebecca, and
but-
Dad, you know?
But if you're comfortable and like if you're comfortable sitting in your own shit, it's like, well, I'm scared to have to get up and move, and it's still scary. Like I can understand it. Well, I had a question though. Like, so he moved in, and it seems like you were like had a really good relation. Were there any like, did y'all butt heads at all ever?
Yes, a couple of times we did.
Was it over girlfriend?
One time.
I could just tell.
One time was over a girlfriend. One time there was definitely a situation. So, it's a funny thing. If you've never looked at your cost breakdown of what you're paying for with your Alabama marriage license, there is actually a like $35 bit of it that is for spousal abuse.
What?
Yep.
They pay you to abuse your spouse?
They make you pay, and it's part of the charges that you're getting for on that license is $35 for spousal abuse.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't know either, but just from that breakdown, it's been kind of like a joke in the house of like, oh, I paid $35. kind of
Let
thing.
me beat you up a little bit.
So what happened is the joke. Greg got to use the $35 before Will ever even had a chance. So how this happened. We were actually playing a game of Mario Kart, of all things. And we're playing the game. Things are fine. He was really into it, apparently, and got pissed off at me for snagging right in front of him and hitting him with something, hitting him with the shell, and then basically taking the lead and taking first. He got so mad, and he was in his temperamental teenageness that he turns around and just for some reason decides to grab the bottom of my chair and flip it.
Oh, goodness.
So I fall back on my back. My head hits the hardwood and everything, and I'm just there, like, staring at the ceiling.
Stunned,
like, what the fuck just happened
Right?
over a video game?
Now, was this child? I missed that. Who did it to you? Was it Eric?
Greg.
Greg, your child?
Yep.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Okay.
So he did it. Yeah. So that happened. And of course, Will immediately, my husband, gets up and just smacks the back of his head. It's like, what the hell's the matter with you? And then he like helps me up, and then it dawns on him what he did, and then his face just drops, and he's like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry. Are you okay?"
Well,
And I'm like,
I mean,
I'm fine. Like a little banged, but like I'm fine. But like, dude, it's just a game.
what the fuck?
What are you doing?
That's the two bullying brothers.
Yep, that was
and
exactly
the younger
like- that
brothers.
was-
That's what it is.
That's why I didn't like lose my shit over it or anything. So I was just
Right.
like, you, because he hadn't been with us that long or anything. So that's what I was like. You're coming just out of that environment and everything to this, and you're just used to, you know, brothers duking it out over stuff like,
Or
so.
getting pissed over a video game.
Yeah.
And doing mean
So we did have
stuff.
that. The girlfriend thing, yeah, that did happen one time. Went to go see a movie with a friend. I did.
Oh, okay.
I went to go see a movie with a friend. He was supposed to be at the house watching the dog, because at the time we got the dog, he was a puppy, so very young, couldn't be left alone, kind of thing. Like, we're training, we're doing all types of stuff, so don't leave the dog alone. And he was like, well, can my girlfriend come over? I'm like, yes, as long as you're still doing what you need to be doing.
How old was he?
This would have been, I think, the tail end of junior year.
Okay.
So like 17.
Yes,
probably.
17.
I was just thinking about, like, girlfriend.
Yep. So, and then I was also like, you know, is her parents fine with her coming over with us not being there because your dad's out of town on a business trip and I'm
at the
going to movies and
Yeah.
like, is she fine? Oh yeah, no, it's totally cool. Okay.
Lies.
Fine. So, yeah, girlfriend comes over. Now we have cameras in our house.
Uh-oh.
So the movie's going on and I decide to pull up the cameras and check. Let me just poke and see. And then I see that we went from the living room to a makeout session to we're picking the girlfriend up and then we're going down the hall to our bedroom. And of course I see the puppy like come to the baby gate by the hallway and just stop and look and just be like, where are you going? Why are you leaving me? So I see this happen on the camera.
And go potty.
Yeah, I see this happen on the camera and everything. So I am texting him and I was like, she needs to leave right now. And he's like, what? I'm like, you heard me. She needs to leave right the fuck now.
Yeah.
Go. And I was like, and we will talk about this when I get home.
And take care of that puppy.
And of course, he knows what he did. So she leaves. I come home. Puppy comes over to greet me. I pick him up. I'm giving him loves and everything. And he is nervous as hell on the couch. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, I gave you like, hey, yes, this can happen as long as XYZ. And you did not do that. And he's like, well, I was like, no, you did not. Like, it's on the fucking cameras, man. Like,
I have proof. We have child porn because of you two now.
I'm like, and I know, and here's the thing, it was Valentine's Day. So I was like, I know it was Valentine's Day, but I told you specifically, So him and I worked stuff out, whatever. The girlfriend didn't question for the longest time. She never once like came over, apologized or anything for her involvement and stuff. And I was like pissed off about it. Then,
But did she know?
Yeah, no, they talked about it. And then because he was like, well, you know, she wants you to know she's sorry. And I was like, if she's sorry, then she can tell me.
Okay.
You don't need to be playing messenger for her. She's a big girl. Like,
Right.
She can come say it.
She's not a big girl.
Well, it goes on. So it goes to the whole of, well, had her mom's information, texting mom. And he was like, well, don't say anything to her mom, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
oh no, we're going to tell mom right now.
oh, yeah, no, I 100% let that slip. And he got pissed off at me about it. And I was like, you said
she was
knew.
okay.
The parents knew and it was fine. And he was like, I told you not to say anything. And then you went behind my back and you said stuff directly to her mom about it. I was like,
I didn't go behind your back.
I was like, dude, no. Like I asked you specifically because it was the first time that she had ever came over when we were not here. Mm-hmm. You said it was fine, that they knew. So that is on you guys.
That's right.
That's not on me.
That's right.
Because her mom was like texting me and being like, well, I don't understand like what's going on and and I just want to try to clear this up. And I'm like, well, you know, your daughter hasn't really said sorry for what happened when they were here in the house by themselves. And she's like, what do you mean they were in the house by themselves?
You showing the video?
There's a video.
No, they didn't get to that point. But
I would have clipped that sucker, put it to music and sent it on.
Yeah.
Here's the TikTok, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I was like, nah, that's not me. So we have had times where we've bumped heads.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's been those times that have happened. Yep.
But that's kind of a parent relationship where that's going to happen anyway.
He got mad at me a lot of times when about his phone because I'd be like, "We're gonna have dinner together. Put your fucking phone down."
Yeah.
Especially when I would just look over across the table because he was doing Snapchat, so he'd be making weird faces, snapping. I was like, "Can you not, please, not make weird?"
Not during dinner time.
Like, what are you doing?
I still have to get on.
I'm just asking you for 20 minutes.
I have to get on to Justin about that shit. Well, like we have Sunday dinners every night, and my son and daughter-in-law live with us, and he'll be like on his phone. I'm like, Justin, got your damn phone.
Yeah.
Not often, but I still get on to her about it.
Especially when I would know too that we're Snapchatting with the current girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, it's 20 minutes, man. Like, or an hour tops. Like, you're fine. You're fine.
The world's not going to end. You can tell her I'm eating dinner with my family.
Yeah, and eventually it'd be like, you know, understand, like, we're not like other parents that were older and we don't understand. Like, your dad and I met online.
Right.
He got a $500 cell phone bill from us talking nonstop. I get it.
Yeah.
But
Did y'all, what was y'all's, since, I mean, you seem like a really cool, like, you seem kind of like Jennifer and I, like, kind of like loosey, well, you seem like me. Jennifer's not so loosey-goosey as I am, but, like, what was y'all's feeling, like, how did y'all handle sex with him?
Lucy.
If Wesley said, I want to bring a girl over and fuck her, how would you react, Miss Jennifer?
Well, he's...
When he's 17, let's say that.
Well, okay, that's... Like, he doesn't even understand what a boner is at this point.
Get that.
He's 13 years old.
Let's say he was 17
wait till he's 17 and ask me
Girl,
that
I
question.
don't even want to hear it. You're so strict. You wouldn't let him.
Okay,
I worry for the girl though.
Well, I get that. And I told
I'm all about the girl. Like, no.
And I like every time my son brought his girlfriend over, I was like, listen, I'm cool with you two having sex. That is fine. You need, young lady, if you're not on birth control, you need to be wearing a condom.
So I got brownie points by dropping Greg off to homecoming, but first stopping off at CVS and picking him up a 3-pack of condoms.
Oh, good for you.
I was like, it's homecoming. I didn't know that it was just strictly like at the school and it wasn't going to be anywhere else because, again, I come from Florida. Usually our shit happened at a hotel.
Right. There was an after party after the
Yeah, like it was always in a hotel meeting space. And so usually people had something or there was some sort of party thing happening elsewhere. But this apparently was in the cafeteria of the high school.
The cafetorium.
I mean, you can find a place
I was
somewhere.
just like, we kind of go, and then I was just like, hey, so we're about to go, and you're about to go to homecoming and stuff, and that's like a big deal. And he's like, yeah, and I'm like, and you're like 17. And he's like, yeah, and I'm like, so do you have stuff on you, or do you need me to like stop somewhere? And he's like, what? Are you serious? And I'm like, no, I'm dead fucking serious, dude. Like, do you have something on you, or do I need to stop somewhere? And he's like, I mean, like that'd be like really cool if you did. So I was like, yep, nope, no problem. So I go in there and just get it.
I don't want a grandbaby.
I'm like, here, and I was like, he's like, I can't believe you're doing this. And I'm like, I would rather you have it if you need it versus not having it and then being like, well, let's just, whatever.
My pull-out game is strong.
Like, no. Absolutely not.
That's what my son says.
and especially because we've drilled it in his head because we're like, you do realize, like, you know how they say condoms are like 99.9% effective? Mm-hmm. Greg is that 0.1%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's his story. He is that 0.1%.
Wow.
That's funny.
That's how that happened. That's how funny. He's a high school baby that happened before it was planned or anything was going on.
Wow.
Like, yep.
Wow. And don't listen to girls. Oh, I'm on birth control. No, fuck you. I'm wearing a condom.
Yeah.
Now, I'm on birth control. Really? Is it an implant? Let me feel that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking STDs. Like,
yeah. No.
Still wrap that shit up.
And that's what I told him too. And I was like, I don't even care if that happens to like just constant and everything. And don't give me a spiel about how you can't feel it or anything like that because that's bullshit. Like 100%.
Yeah.
There's no.
You can fit you can fit your whole hand into a condom.
Oh no. College. We had a group come by and do some sort of like
condom education,
like education thing. But basically there was one dude and he was like, ladies, if there's ever a guy in here who's all like, oh my god, I'm too big, I'm not gonna fit, let me break that for you here. And he just kind of like sticks it on his head and blows it up until it pops on the top of his head. He's like, so unless he is bigger than my head,
which you do not want in your vagina,
he's like, it's not gonna happen. So
that's funny.
That is so funny.
But yeah, so basically that was the first thing. And then from then on, it was just a like, oh, girlfriend wants to spend the night. And I was just kind of like, I don't want to fucking hear it. Like, I don't want to hear it.
He after all that, he was like, girlfriend wants to spend the night?
No. He asked about like how I
dealt with sex.
Sex
I'm sorry.
So that was pretty much how that happened. Was just, hey, if you're gonna have the girl spend the night, like we don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I remember we let Justin bring his girlfriend over, and I didn't think too much of it. I was like, but I heard something. I was like, what am I hearing? And then afterwards, I was like, were you two having sex? And he's like, yeah. I was like, that's not what I thought it was. So I was like, it was rhythmic, but it didn't sound quite right. I guess my son's like bony and skinny, so I guess it was like their bony hips smacking together or something. Oh Lord.
No.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that shit with Kalia when she's 15, 16. Be like, oh.
Well, you don't know if she'll have a girl or a boy.
I'm praying she turns out to be a lesbian. Oh my God. I was like, let's listen to some Katie Lang. I'll teach you how to build furniture. Be great.
Why would you rather lesbian?
I don't have to deal with great grandchildren.
Okay, so just the kids aspect.
Well, also because I'm queer, I was like, I wouldn't mind having. And her mom has said, like, Kalia and her mom have both said they're bisexual. So I was like, I'm fine with whatever she says.
She's already had a girlfriend in 4th grade.
Yeah,
Kalia has, so I'm sure she's bi.
Yeah, I'm whatever she realizes she is. I'm happy with. It's kind of just a long-standing joke with me, but I don't know.
Yeah, my son.
Oh my
I
God,
would've
your son
loved
is
to
so
have a
heterosexual.
I would have loved to have a gay boy. Will love to have a gay boy. But the first time he called me mom was, "Hey, mom, I have a girl." Fuck. Okay, that's how we're gonna do it. Okay, so there's no doubt in my son's sexual orientation. He has been girl crazy since he was 8 years old.
I remember my sister having conversation with my oldest nephew, and at the time he was 5 or 6, and he asked her, "Mommy, what does gay mean? What is gay mean?" And she was like, "Well," and she kind of explains it to him, like, sometimes boys want to be with boys, girls want to be with girls. And he's like, "That's okay." And she's like, "Yeah, baby, it is. Like, there's already people in your life who are gay." And he's like, "What?" And she'd have to explain that his grandfather was gay, that a friend of hers that's been around him a bunch is gay. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "Mommy, well, am I gay?" And she's like, "I don't know, baby. When you think about like kissing somebody or hugging on somebody, do you want it to be with a boy or do you want it to be with a girl?" "Oh, I want it to be with a girl." And she's like, "Then no, honey, you're not gay." And then when she's regaling me with this conversation, she just looks at me, she's like there was any fucking doubt. Because this kid, when he was still in his high chair, could not speak yet or anything like that. There used to be a commercial for the Florida Center for Cosmetic Surgery.
Okay.
And it had this old tune and everything else, but basically a bunch of girls in bikinis, big boobs and everything else. But it did not matter what he was doing, what he was playing with. If that chime of that commercial came on, that boy would run and just stare at the TV. Boom. And if he was like in his high chair, if you got in front of him, he'd be like dodging around you, trying to see it. So she was like, the first thing he discovered was boobs. So like, there's no doubt. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, definitely. he's 100% straight.
That's funny.
Well, so now you have a 25 year, you said he's 25, live in Colorado. How's y'all's relationship?
Later on today, actually, we're going to be getting online to play a video game together.
Aww.
That he bought me for my birthday that was on my wish list. And he's like, "Hey, we can play this together." And then we used to call it mommy son time.
Aww,
so when he
awesome.
was here, we used to have mommy son time. So we would actually go out on Sundays and like go to like Waffle House, have breakfast. He usually would throw money in the jukebox, and then we would be sitting there singing with the jukebox, entertaining all of the people around us.
Aww.
Awesome.
So I was like, I miss our times at Waffle House. And he's like, maybe you should just bring a cutout with you. And I'm like, that is not the same. That is not the same, sir. And
sing with me.
You know it. That's not the same.
Oh, bless him.
Well, that's good that you still continue to have a good relationship with him.
How's his relationship with his bio mom?
I don't know.
You know, y'all talk about it?
Nah, we do not really talk about it.
Okay. What about with his dad?
Oh, they're totally fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when's the wedding between him and girlfriend?
It is not set yet.
Okay.
They got engaged.
That's just as far as it's gone.
That's as far as it got.
Okay.
So of his story telling us how he got engaged is just hilarious. So him and the girlfriend decided to take a trip and go like cabins and like cave exploration like things, and it was during December, so it was all pretty and snow and ice and stuff everywhere. And even one of those like, we didn't think about, oh, we're gonna have like a cabin in the middle of nowhere. Like, it really is in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to do, like not even cell phone service or internet. Yeah, no, that's the whole point.
I've seen horror movies that start off like that.
They were 20-minute drive from town kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, no, you have to plan for that stuff. But he tells us about this trip, and he tells us that so he made a mistake and had the wrong shoes on. So one of the times that they were walking around inside one of the caves and stuff, he actually slipped on the ice and fell into the water. About waist deep into the water.
Oh, no.
And I was like, what shoes did you have on? He's like, my sneakers. And I was like, no. Those are the wrong things to wear on ice.
God,
what are you doing?
Could have gotten frostbite.
And I was like, well, what did she have on? He's like, her hiking boots. So I was like, so she's the smart one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So then he's like,
typical.
So he tells us about all his trip and everything else. We continue talking about things around Christmas time this was. And like, he's like, oh, so by the way, she's not pregnant, but we are engaged. Like, okay, good.
Yeah, no shotgun weddings. So
and he's like, yeah, and he's like, so, no. So, we're engaged. And he's like, I'll send you pictures of the ring and stuff. And so he sends us pictures of the ring, of which I made the joke that it looked like a Wizard's Quest ring because just the design of it is like a black kind of teardrop diamond thing with some other diamonds on the side and like silver. And I was just like, it just looks like a wizard's ring. It really does. And he's like, you're right, it kind of does. And then he sends me other pictures, and one of the pictures is him kneeling in front of her, giving the ring. And I notice that it's a bunch of ice and cave and stuff around. And I went, Greg.
Is that how you fell in the water?
That's exactly what I said. Greg, when you slipped and fell on the ice, the guy was like, was that while you were proposing? He's like, yep. So I'm like, so in true Greg fashion, that's how you did that. Like,
I mean, that's a really good story, though.
I mean, you can't beat that proposal right there.
is
Like,
so
I
funny.
was
and
on my knees, I fell through the ice, and she still said yes.
yeah,
least
I
you
was
didn't-
on my knees. She said yes. I went to get up to put the ring on her finger and fell into the ice.
And she still wants to marry
Well,
this
she
dumbass.
laughed her ass off at me,
Oh, yeah,
but
of course.
still accepted the
Yes.
At least you didn't lose the ring. Can
No.
you imagine?
Like, oh, wow.
God.
That's
But yeah, I
funny.
was just like, in true Greg fashion, that's how that happened to you. Of
That's
course it
Bless
is.
him.
Because he has had just, like, I have my klutzy moments, but he also has klutzy moments too. That sometimes we just, like, what did you just do?
Right.
Like, he used to work for one of the axe throwing places around here.
Oh, okay.
He gave himself one hell of a concussion
Oh, Jesus.
by changing out the boards in the axe throwing place. Because even though they were like, don't, when you go put the old boards inside the trash, bin outside, be careful when you're doing it. Board overhead to go into the bin.
Whacked
and
himself.
It cracked in half and got on the head.
Oh, good times. Good times.
That's funny. But, like, I'm glad you guys have that good relationship.
Yeah, that's
even,
awesome.
Even in his 20s and he's, kind of far away and
Yeah.
all that stuff, that's still, good to keep
And like I
that
said,
line open.
The fiance, she's great.
So not the same one as...
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. He went from that one to another one that he, like, joined the Mormon church for a while.
What?
Yep.
Because you, like, for our listening audience, Rebecca does not appear to be the Mormon-esque type.
Oh, no.
He followed a girl. That happens to a lot of boys.
Yeah, and actually recently I had to go, hey, Greg, just so you know, the Mormon boys came knocking on the door. This was last month. The Mormon boys came knocking on the door for you. He's like, what? And I'm like, yep. I was like, that was a fun conversation. He's like, how did that go? And I was like, oh. So they knock on the door. I answered the door. I am wearing not this shirt, but by the same designer, one that says Black Magic Familiar. And has like spiders, snakes, and a fox and all types of other stuff on it, and bats and things. I'm wearing that. And I answered the door, and of course it's one of these two young Mormon boys.
Oh, bless them.
And they're like, hi. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, so, we're from I'm like, yep. And he's like, well, we were just kind of like stopping in, just checking in and seeing if you guys like needed anything. Our map showed that there was like is this Thompson residence? I'm like, yeah. Oh, wait, we heard there's Gregory here on our map. And I'm like, yeah, no, he ain't here anymore, man. He's in Denver. And they're like, oh, okay.
He's
Well,
closer to your God now.
I was, he
Your
was
God.
like, I was like, oh, we're like, is he doing it okay? And I was like, yeah, no, he's doing fine. Like, he had came to y'all following a girl, but that ain't a thing anymore. So, nope, he's good. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, like, can we help you out in any way? Is there anything we can do or anything? And I'm like, dude.
You can leave.
And they're like, oh, like, how's your day going? Or you're like, okay. And I was like, oh, no, my day's going fine. So right now, like, I'm actually preparing to go to the witch market. And then
Have
after
a
that,
seance later.
and after that, we're having a party here that I'm preparing for because it's my birthday. And they're like, oh, well, happy birthday. I'm like, thanks. And they're like, so can we do anything like for you? And I'm like, dude, I'm like agnostic and my husband is an atheist. Like, we good. Did you not catch the Cthulhu sign in our yard?
You really have a Cthulhu?
We really do. We have a campaign sign that says, why vote for lesser evil? And it says Cthulhu.
That's funny.
That's funny.
That's how people find our houses, the Cthulhu campaign sign.
Oh, wait, maybe we should take this out just in case someone tries to find our house.
But yeah.
That's funny.
So I was just like, no. And my friend was visiting. She pops her head out from the hallway after they leave, and she's like, what was that? I was like, two Mormon boys coming looking for
bless
Greg.
them.
She's like, oh, I should have came out was like, why? She's like, I would be like, hey, what's up? I'm Baptist. And I was like, wait, do Baptists have a problem with Mormons? She's like, no, it's the other way around. They have a real big problem with us. She's like, so I would have scared them. I would have been like seeing the devil in this house. I was like, then why didn't you come out, man? I was like, because I was sitting here debating on how bad I wanted to make this for. I decided to be nice. And she's like, why? What were you thinking about doing? I was like, I was actually thinking about going, well, seeing how you're actually offering, I've been thinking about writing a book of a certain kind of romance variety, but I have some ideas. And I'd love to bounce them off of both of you and see what you think about the storyline.
And it involves the golden underwear.
And a minotaur.
Isn't that what it is?
You know?
The golden underwear?
I don't think it's golden, it's holy.
Holy
the whole
underwear.
Oh, that's a funny story too. When he started dating the girl, that was something that Hubs asked him, like, well, does she wear the holy underwear? And he's like, what are you talking about? Oh, no, you can't be part of this if you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So we had to pull it up and show it to him, and he's like, that's not a real thing. We're like, it's 100% a real thing.
I thought only the boys were the
No, they both have.
They both.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
They both.
Okay.
They both have. So yeah.
Yeah.
That was another conversation.
I scared off my Mormon because I have a tattoo that is rainbow in color, and it has Arya's paw print and a just random cat, because I'm not going to try to get my cat to put a paw print down. But that whenever any of my pets have passed, they say they go across the rainbow bridge.
Yep.
So I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, I like your tattoo. And I was like, yeah, it's for the animals, but it's also to show that I'm an ally. And they're like, an ally? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I have so many gay friends. Oh, you do? Oh, yes, so many gay friends. What do you guys think about the gays? I know you just like recently let the blacks in. You know my son's black, so I know you just recently did that. But what do you think about the gays?
Yeah.
I was really nice about it. They brought it up. I was just telling them how I feel.
For a long time, we actually didn't. This is the first time we've had any sort of knocks on that door since we took that house over. Our house used to belong to somebody who rather big inside the atheist community.
Oh, okay.
Had memes about him and everything and stuff done. So I think on almost every one of those soliciting knock-on-door groups, they started marking our house of like, do not go here, because he was one of those atheists that would also like, he wouldn't turn them away. No, he would invite them in, sit them down, and then make them question themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Because he knew everything about their stuff, because he studied it. Like, all the books, all the things inside and out. So he knew it. So he'd question them, just be like, well, I don't understand. Like, why are you here? Why are you recruiting people? You know, only so many of you guys can get in.
God.
Like, so
Those poor children.
Or you're just lessening your chances of getting in. Like, that's what your book says. There's only so many. You're like, wait, what? So yeah, he's one of those guys. So we just never.
So your house is like the
I'm
black
pretty sure
X.
our house is a black X on everybody's map. Just like everybody's map, they're just like, do not go here.
That's so funny.
There's a bad man here. Do not go here.
So funny.
Now there's a bad woman here.
Yeah.
I've the other interesting interaction that I've had was actually when we were in the apartment in Madison. That was Jehovah's Witness ladies coming and knocking on my door. And I was about to head off to a meetup for an atheist group, because that's how we made friends here. So we moved to Alabama, and we're like, why is the first two questions everybody asks us is like, what church do you go to? What team do you support? Alabama, Auburn. Like, that's the only two choices in the world? What?
I didn't get the church when I first moved, but I was in the 5th grade, but I did get the team. And I was like, because that was the only football team I knew, because it's my grandpa. And I'm like, Fighting Irish. And they're like, wait, what?
What?
Yeah, like throws them off.
I live in Alabama, but what the fuck are y'all talking about? I'm 12. Come on. But yeah, I didn't get the church thing, but I did get that.
So that time, those ladies came and knocking on the door too. The shirt that I had on that day it's the famous like bust up picture of Marilyn Monroe in her white dress, just kind of standing there. However, half of her is gone and is just skeleton. So like half her face is skeleton and everything else. So it's kind of like twisted, morbid type of thing. So these poor ladies, I opened the door and one of them is just like staring at my shirt. And she's just like,
Never mind.
It took her forever to get her whole thing out. And I was like, I almost went like, are you okay? Like, it's just a shirt.
Bless her.
Yeah, the whole thing just and again I had to be like, yeah, no, I'm this, my husband's that, like, we good. And then she was actually when she was like, oh, really? You are? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, why are you that? And I'm like, why? She's like, yeah, what, agnostic? What is that? I don't understand. Why are you agnostic? I'm like, oh, because, like, I don't discount that there might be some sort of higher power, but I just don't think any one religion has it right, because we all follow books that are written by man, and man invented lies, so how do we really know?
Right.
So, I don't know.
Shattered her poor world.
I did. She did not know what to do with herself. She was like, oh, okay, well, thank you for explaining things and taking the time to do that. I'm like, sure, no problem.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Enjoy yourself trying to figure this shit out.
Yep.
Your story was reminded me. I was walking around this is the second house I've owned in Huntsville. The first one is over by Bridge Street here in Huntsville. Mm-hmm. And I was walking around, and at the time, it was pretty close to season 7 or 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Nice.
Like, everybody's seen that show, but from season 7, the winner was Bianca Del Rio, and her catchphrase was "Not today, Satan."
Yep.
And my husband got me a shirt that said "Not today, Satan."
Yep.
And I'm not sure what religion they were, but they were walking around. They saw my shirt. It's like, oh, I love your shirt. And I'm like, thanks.
It's got
You're
nothing
welcome.
to do with religion.
Oh, and I told Jennifer, and so Zane and I, my husband and I were walking around the only indoor mall here in town on Thursday, I think it was. And we just had lunch, and we're just walking around, and some old white man comes up to me and says, hey, do you know where the Trump campaign office is here in the mall? And I was like, yeah, it's like over by the escalator, just because I had happened to see it. And he's like, oh, thanks. You never know who you can ask these days. And I'm like, shouldn't ask this old faggot. Like, I'm not the person
I
to ask.
wish you were
Please tell me
wearing.
you actually said that.
I was like, I wish you were wearing one of your gay shirts, because that would have been hilarious.
Earlier today, I went to Publix, and when I came home, I was just like, I walked in the door, shut the door, and I'm like, my husband's like, what? And I'm like, remind me just never to go to anywhere on Sunday again after they all get out of their little buildings. I hate this. Don't send me there again. I should have known as soon as I got in the parking lot. He's like, why would you see in the parking lot? I'm like, oh, some dude decided to do the tailgate of his truck that said Trump, 2024, and it said he won't be put down, but the rest of y'all will.
Oh,
and
Lord
is gonna save America again. And I'm like,
He didn't save America anymore.
tell me you're a cult without telling me you're a cult.
Right.
Because
Oh, Lord. All right, so bring it back to children.
yeah,
Are you excited about possibly being a grandparent soon? Grandmother?
they have no plans for kids.
Oh, so they're no desire?
No desire.
Okay.
No desire for multiple reasons, but one of the main ones is she actually has a lot of health things, so it's not really a good idea for something like that to happen for her. So they're just like, nah.
Very cool.
Adoption?
Maybe.
Have they? Do you know if they've talked about that?
Nah.
No.
They're also 25, so...
Well, I'm just
No, I know.
asking.
Yeah, they're
Like-
they're early 20s. They're enjoying being early 20s and having
yeah.
the freedom to do all the things. And
Having all the money and time.
Well, I don't know.
Money,
she goes to
time.
school, so she doesn't have the money.
no, she does not anymore.
She graduated? Oh, she dropped out.
She dropped out.
Oh, Lord.
But she still has to pay for whatever
she dropped out and everything. Yeah.
Oh, bless
She
her.
went to school for a certain thing, and then it got to that point, and they were like, "Hey, this is kind of your final thing that you're gonna have to like dissect this thing and do this stuff and medical things and do XYZ to animals for your stuff." And she was like, "I don't like this."
Oh,
So she
Lord.
got out. She did land into something that was in her field, and is doing good in that and everything. But just she kind of did that, and then what's funny, she gets out and she just looks at him and she's like, "College is a scam." And he's like, "I tried to tell you, babe." Like, I tried to tell you.
My mama too, or bonus mom, told me many years ago.
So
That's funny.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I said she good thing right off the bat. She 100% like when they would go out and just go on dates. No, you can't pay for things because you paid for things last time, so it's my turn to pay for things. She very much wanted a lot of things to be equal.
Good.
She made a big deal. So our dog has an allergy to chicken and eggs, actually.
Okay.
So for Christmas, the first Christmas, she came over, she gave us gifts. Like, I got a gift and husband got a gift, and she even made little like homemade biscuits for the dog.
Aww.
I was like, I know he has a chicken allergy, so I didn't use any chicken at all in it. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet, thank you so much. And I was like,
Did you use eggs?
that's exactly what I was like, but is there any eggs in it? And she was like, oh my god, I totally forgot about the eggs. And she almost cried. I was like, no, it's fine. I was like, I'm just glad I asked first before I gave it to him, because otherwise then I'd have to give him an allergy pill, or he'd be like chewing on his foot all night. So she's like, I'm so sorry, I'll make some. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
You remembered totally one. Fine. That's fine. It's not your fault the dog has so many allergies.
And we also, I think it's a leftover thing from my husband's friends. So when, like, I came up to visit my husband, right? So he came down to visit me, and then I came out to visit him before I moved in. And his friends would have a thing about, like, basically challenging the girlfriends. So, hey, let me bring you over to meet my friend, but then my friend is going to be the raunchiest, most shocking thing ever. So let us talk about, like, jokes about dead babies on spikes and things, and see if you flinch. See if you pass the test. So that
like,
kind of like
play, what's the game?
Cards Against Humanity.
Yes, because I mean that's kind of that sort of
kind of
thing.
Yeah. So early days of that before Cards Against Humanity exists, but it's the same thing. We would just like, oh, new girlfriend. So we would just be shocking and over the top and everything, and just see if they could hang with it or not. And she just delivered back without missing a beat. And I'm like, she's
a keeper.
She's a keeper. She's a good one. She ain't taking your shit. She's calling you on your shit. She's playing ball with us. This is totally fine. She can fit in.
That's the right type of girlfriend.
Like she can be part of the family. It's fine.
That's funny. I like that.
So, yeah, and
good for him for getting good.
And all of us are like, we're really close. We all have like matching tattoos.
Aww.
So, that's awesome. I might have to get matching tattoos. I have to pay for it, though.
Of all things, given the story I shared about Mario Kart, our tattoos are Mario mushrooms.
Oh, that's precious.
So you can look at it every time, but like, I got flipped out of a chair for this little motherfucker.
Well, so Hubs has the red one, original. Mm-hmm. He has the green one.
The Life Up, yeah.
Life Up, because he's technically, like, he looks like a doppelganger of my husband. He's just repeating.
That's precious.
So, and then mine is actually like a pink and purple mix one. So.
That's awesome. All right, ladies. Well, I think we're a good transition spot.
Are we?
Yep.
Okay.
So, Miss Jennifer, actually, Miss Rebecca, what have you been snacking on?
Reese's peanut butter pumpkins.
Yes.
I was talking with Rebecca last night. I was like, do you like salty or sweet? And she's like, sweet normally. And then she's like, usually my go-to candy is Reese's cups. And I was like, perfect. And then I went to the gas station today to go get their Diet Dr. Pepper, and I was like, they had the jack-o'-lantern ones. I was like, oh, perfect, because I actually like those, because my husband gets the Easter egg ones for
There's
Easter.
Just something about those. They make them different.
Yeah. I think there's a little more peanut butter than the chocolate, maybe.
Because they're longer?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I love them.
Yep.
All right, Miss Rebecca. So we've had our snack time. Now it's story time. So do you have any funny or embarrassing stories about your kids or even your own childhood? You've told us a ton. So if you got one held back in reserve.
Like I said in the beginning, you got to have one to hold back on.
Yep. No. So,
Do tell.
Time of our wedding. So he came in. Greg came in on the plane and everything else. When he showed up, he had a big bandage on his chin.
Oh.
And we're like, what in the world happened to you? He's like, oh, it's just an infection and everything. Mom took me to a doctor. It's fine. I got these pills. And we're like, and then I like grabbed the pill bottles after like the first day, because he takes them and he pretty much just zonks out into a zombie. And I'm like, what in the world? And I look, and these are like heavy narcotic pills and everything, like an antibiotic and like a heavy narcotic pill. And I looked them up, and they're like not even supposed to be done together. So I was like, where the fuck did your mom take you? Like, these are not even supposed to happen this way. And we were like, what happened on your chin? He's like, oh, it's like a spider bite. Okay.
It's like a spider bite?
He's like, it's the thing that happens, like some spider bit me on my chin and everything. Okay. So we're at the point now that family's starting to come in. It's a couple of days before the wedding. And I'm like, that still hasn't really like gone down or changed. A friend of ours, big on spiders and everything else. I was like, can you do me a favor and like look at this thing on his chin? Because I know you know spiders like crazy. You're like a zoologist when it comes to spiders. So can you just look at this thing on his chin and just see, like, is it okay? Or do we need to be concerned about it? He's like, yeah. We're at a restaurant. They go off into the bathroom. They come out of the bathroom, and then everyone like is freaking out. I'm like, what? And he's like, we're going to the hospital. We're going to the yard. And I'm like, what, why? And my friend's like, no, if that is a spider bite, like he needs to go to the hospital because that does not look right. Everything else. Goes to the hospital. Well, next thing you know, he is getting quarantined with a huge staph infection.
Oh no.
Oh, poor baby.
That had started to work its way from his chin down his throat, and they caught it just in time. But he was put in quarantine, and he was in the hospital until he got released from the hospital the night before the wedding, made it to the rehearsal dinner and everything. We go through the wedding.
Oh wow.
But here's the funny part of it all. When we get done with it all, done with the wedding, everything calms down, then of course we're sitting down, we're having a conversation, talking about stuff, and then husband looks at me, he's like, I know you said it was a spider bite, but just answer one question for me. Are you sure that this wasn't like you shaved and like nicked your chin and then went down on your girlfriend kind of thing? And he's like, oh, yeah, I think that is what happened.
How old was he? Like 15?
16.
He got the toxic pussy.
So we're like, that was actually one of the first of like safe sex conversations where we're like, and I just went, okay, but I'm going to tell you the same thing that like a comedian said once. It's just, you start with the fingers, you go down, you take a passing sniff, and you come back up and just continue going with the fingers and talk. But if you get any funkiness happening on that pass, do not lick it. Like, don't do that, man.
My God.
I'm like, she landed you in the fucking hospital.
Yeah. Oh
Can
my
you-
God.
I mean, all right, to be gross, can you imagine if he had been gay and eaten a booty? Oh, like he would have. Oh, can you imagine the kind of infection he would have gotten from a booty hole?
Nope.
Ugh.
Yeah, and we were just kind of like, so this was the girl that he tried to stay there for. And then fast forward a little bit, he comes with us to Dragon Con. She's like blowing up his phone at Dragon Con and everything else. Like, want to know where he is. What's he doing? Like every like 20 minutes. And we're like, dude, she needs to calm down.
Yeah.
Like you're at a con. Like we're having fun. This is how this goes. So we're just like, dude, how many signs do you need? Like, she's stalking you. She's not letting you have a fun time at con. She gave you
pussy.
like
I mean,
toxic
you
pussy
know.
that landed you in the hospital before our wedding. Like,
Yeah.
what more do you need?
Yeah.
Good
He had to learn
Lord.
the hard
He
way.
did. He did have to learn the
Good Lord. That is hilarious.
One deadly vagina.
So yeah, there you go. There you go. Just listeners and tell your kids and everything. Just I said, passing sniff. If it smells wrong,
Or
don't lick it.
Maybe don't like shave and then like put your face in other people's genitals.
Yeah, no. If you've nicked yourself, definitely don't.
Yeah. Give yourself a day to heal.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, Miss Rebecca, and to all our listeners, thanks for listening to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting. If you have any funny stories about your kids,
Or if you need some bad parenting advice or have any ideas for topics,
please email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com.
if you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and that's your turn.
Sorry.
It's a story about me, but go ahead.
And if you don't like our podcast, just like when our kids ask why you can't throw away their trash, even though you're literally dying from a migraine.
Tough shit. You're not getting fast food for a while, motherfucker. That happened last night.
Oh my God.
Bye,
y'all.
guys. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Rebecca.
much, Rebecca.
Bye.